All right, Team Unitary, I am so excited to have you here tonight on a special team call focused and tailored specifically to mindset. I'm going to open by saying, quoting, "Stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds will grow automatically," by Brad Bizjack, who's going to be our guest speaker tonight. I was fortunate enough to actually meet Brad when we were in the test group for 80-Day Obsession. He is a former coach turned mindset coach, inspirational speaker, and podcast host. He is married to a beautiful wife, Janice, and he has been quoted by many top coaches in our company and organization. I'll preface that by saying that Brad spends a lot of his time working with Beachbody coaches specifically because of his knowledge in the business, and really wants us to succeed in this business by helping us with his mindset courses. But he has been quoted as the personal development on steroids. He has also been quoted as being the missing link, his courses being the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs in order to move forward and get unstuck in their business. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Brad Bizjack, who is the creator of the Appreciation Academy. He's going to share a little bit about the courses that he does have available, but for the most part, he's going to be speaking directly to us and help us to get unstuck from wherever we are right now today and from here on out. So go for it, Brad.
What's going on, guys? Can you hear me? Is that coming through? Give me a big thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What is up, everyone? Happy Wednesday night. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to be here today. I want you to know that I do not take this opportunity lightly. I don't take your time for granted. I know that this is time you cannot get back. So it is my promise that over this next hour, I am not going to betray your trust. This is going to be so much above and beyond value to help you master this, your noggin, right? That thing that gets in the way of you creating the business you want or creates the business you want, creates the life that you want. By a show of hands, how many of you guys were on the call that I did for Barbie and like the Slay Squad team call a couple of months ago? Any of you guys on that call? Okay, so this call is actually going to be a little bit different than that. I told Alita earlier that we were going to do totally different content structured just for your team, and this is all about using the pain of your past to create greatness in your life. That's what tonight is about, using the pain of your past to create greatness in your life. So before we get rocking and rolling with the content tonight, just to make sure you get the most out of this experience together, silence your phones, turn the Instagram stories off, take your picture for it now if you want to, but post it later. Put the kids in a closet, whatever you have to do, just be fully present here. I promise it'll be worth your time if you're taking really solid notes today, because I promise that over this next 45 minutes, it will make a drastic impact on your life. So I want to tell you a little bit about how I started off on my success journey. And the reason for that is because you'll see very, very quickly throughout the content of this call that life is really made up of events and the meaning you give to each event. And that's it. That's it. It's mostly due to the meaning you give to each event that you face. So I started off on my success journey very, very angry. I was actually pretty sad, pretty down, and I had a lot of blame because I didn't think it was fair to be where I was. I had a lot of blame, thinking I should be further along or my life should be different. Like I started off deeply in debt, just really stressed out about money, about time, about my life, and I always used that as a reason as to why I was stuck. And so when I was a kid, my childhood wasn't very fun at home. And this isn't a sob story. I tell you this for a reason. I was embarrassed to bring kids over to the house because I didn't know how my mom was going to be around them. I didn't know if it was, I was actually ashamed of my family growing up. And a lot of things triggered this surrounding my mom. And I love my mom. I've forgiven her for things that I've gone through with her in the past. I consistently have to do that on a regular basis because things still happen to this day that are out of line with what I would expect them to happen. But like you'll learn today, when you trade your expectations for appreciations, your life changes in a single second. So when I was growing up, I never knew and still don't know which version of mom I was going to get. I didn't know if I was going to get the narcissistic version where like, this is my problem of the week, this is what's going on. I didn't know if I was going to get the controlling version where like, you can't open the fridge until I say so or whatever it is. I didn't know if I was going to get the embarrassing version. I didn't know if I was going to get the fun version. I didn't know if I was going to get the one that really stuck with me, which is where love was used as a weapon against me. And really what that can be summed up to is I never knew who I had to be to deserve my mom's love. I never knew who I had to be to feel worthy of her love in some way. And it changed minute to minute. It was like walking on eggshells. I was changing who I was to appease someone's pain, just to feel loved in some way. How many of you guys have changed who you are or what you value or how you act just so people will approve of you in some way? Type yes in the chat box if you've ever done that in your life. That was a huge challenge in my life. One of the biggest challenges I ever faced was seeking validation because I never felt worthy, and it sucked. And on top of that, I hated seeing my parents scream and fight about money. And I kid you not, guys, it was every day. That's not hyperbole for this call. It was every day, screaming matches and fighting matches about money. I remember I took out $40,000 of loans because my grandmother was nice enough to save up $40,000 for me to go to college, right? And so I had to take out $40,000 more to make up for the tuition. But when I got to school, I found out that that money was stolen. It was gone. Totally gone. And so I remember going into school basically going to be 6 figures in debt almost. And I was super stressed out about it. I remember thinking, like, this isn't my responsibility. Like, this isn't fair that I'm this far in debt. It's not fair to me. And I just felt stuck in some way. And I hated going back to Chicago because it meant that I would have to be around my family. I hated holidays, I hated birthdays, and I hated being around them on Christmas time when, like, my mom would literally ghost us. And it hurt, right? It deeply hurt. And it hurts to see that happen in your family. It hurts when love is used as a weapon. But I hated the pain. I hated my past. I was very, very angry. And I would mask it with fake positivity. How many of you guys have ever used positivity as a coping mechanism when inside you're kind of dying a little bit? That's what I used to do. Now I'm actually this annoyingly happy on a regular basis. You can ask Sarah. She's one of my clients in here. I'm actually this annoyingly happy on a regular basis. But before, it was a coping mechanism just to be liked. And so I remember making myself a promise growing up that I never would be like that. I'd never waste life away. I would create something. I'd create something amazing that provided an incredible life. And so I set out on a journey to do it, and I failed. Epically failed. My first job out of school, 22 years old, I was drinking and partying 3 or 4 nights a week, and I was making good money as a 22-year-old kid. But for some reason, there was always too much month at the end of the money. How many of you guys have ever found that to happen in your life from time to time? Too much month at the end of the money. I remember I was just skating by, and I thought it was the job that was bringing this negativity in my life, but it was me. And then I found Beachbody, and Beachbody saved me. It saved me from going into this tailspin, into this pit of mediocrity that I feared so much. It exposed me to hope. It exposed me to what was possible. It exposed me to people living a life of love and generosity and abundance. And it showed me what was possible for my life. How many of you guys, when you were exposed to this opportunity, you were like, that would be amazing. And you felt that inner pull, that inner drive for something bigger. That's what I felt. And I got really excited about what I was going to create. But there was one problem. When I tried, it didn't work. It didn't work. Something wasn't working. Something about what I was doing wasn't working. Every time I made an attempt to build something big, it wasn't working. And so what I would do is I would pretend I had all this success. I try to prove to my audience that my business was worth it. I pretended I had a great business. I'd sneak my way into successful groups of coaches because just 1 ounce of validation from someone in my life made me feel incredible. I remember I went through the 80-day obsession test group with Alita back in the day. And I remember, like, before that, Autumn Calabrese and I became friends. And I remember thinking, just because she knew who I was, I had some sort of value. But, like, isn't that a crappy way to evaluate your self-worth, right? If someone else likes you. And so I remember just thinking that if someone else liked me, I mattered. But I craved acceptance. And I was willing to change who I was to be around these successful people. But even though I was around these successful people, I was stuck. How many of you type yes if you just feel stuck? And it doesn't even need to be in business. It can be in your marriage. It can be in your bank account. It can be in anything. How many of you feel stuck? That's where I was. I was stuck in my life, and I didn't know what was holding me back. And I remember I would need a team call to get motivated. And I'd be really hyped up for a couple days. And I'd message my coach. I'd be like, Jesse, I sent out 200 invites this week, basically begging for validation and telling me that I did a great job. And like, I was basically just like frustrated because all of these invites were totally ghosted. No one responded to me or just stopped messaging me. That was the kind of the vibe that I got. And when I looked at my to-do list of all the things that it would take to allow me to become successful, I was overwhelmed. Even if I got my to-do list done, I was stressed. And then if I didn't do my to-do list, I was overwhelmed. And I was like, what's going on? It was like fighting a ghost, and it was impossible. And I felt like I had no control over my emotions. It was this endless perfection and guilt loop where I knew like I had to do something perfectly. And if I didn't, I got down on myself, and then I'd feel guilty for being down on myself. And I was just stuck. I wish I had success, but I didn't. And I remember getting into these bouts of depression where like I was down, and then, not if this makes sense, I was pissed off at myself for being down. I was pissed off at myself for being depressed. I was pissed off at myself for being less than I could really be, when deep down I knew I was meant for something bigger than what I was doing in my life. And it sucked. It really sucked. And so I was face to face with one of my biggest fears, mediocrity, average, just barely getting by. And so that was how I would define my past, stuck and feeling like it wasn't fair to be where I was. And I had no idea how to break through it. And I just expected that things would work out. But even though I'd hit Success Club, nothing happened. And so now let's fast forward. I'm going to show you how I bridge this gap, but fast forward to now, and life's actually awesome. Like really, really awesome. It's flooded with abundance and amazing opportunities and amazing people and a thriving business and financial abundance. And most importantly, I'm actually happy. Now, I don't say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that if you have crap you're dealing with, you can get unstuck. And I am living proof of that. So I'll share with you at the end about how you can work with me in detail on how to do that, but that's not the purpose of this call. I'll share with you about my courses and all that stuff. That's how I changed my life. But first, we need a paradigm shift if your life is ever going to change, if you're in a place where you're stuck or if your teammates are stuck. So let's start with the very beginning of everything that helped my personal growth journey just explode. And that is, write this in your notes, biography is not destiny. Biography is not destiny. So I want to start off by saying something very boldly, very directly. Whatever your past is, whatever you've gone through, no matter what experiences you've had, it does not determine the future of your life. It doesn't matter if you've been in business for years and you haven't made a dime. It doesn't matter if you crushed your business for a couple of years and things slowed down. It doesn't matter if you had parents that yelled at you. It doesn't matter if you were beaten, if you were addicted to alcohol or drugs. It doesn't matter if you were in jail. It doesn't matter if you were sexually abused. It doesn't matter. All those things, sure, they play a role in your life, but they do not dictate the future of your life. But they can provide you with extremely valuable lessons on how to pursue your future. Every person or situation in your life is an example or a warning. Every person or situation in your life is an example or a warning. And we kind of logically know that. But how have you used your past to limit you? How have you used a past failure in business to limit you? How have you used abuse from when you were a kid to limit you? How have you used emotional challenges growing up to limit you? How have you used depression, anxiety to limit you? How have you used your past to limit you? Type yes if you've ever set less ambitious goals because you haven't been able to achieve the goals you set in the past. How many of you guys have done that? Don't lie. If you lie about that, you lie about other shit too. Be totally honest here. Open environment. So what about type yes if you've ever used your financial situation as a reason as to why you can't break through and live a life of abundance? How many of you guys haven't gone to Summit because Summit costs money? How many of you guys have had that limiting mindset? How many of you guys have not invested in your personal growth because of money, right? And so we've got to think about this. If you want to change your life, you can't change your life from the mindsets that got you to where your life is. You need a new mindset, and that's why you must invest in your growth. But I bring this up for a very specific reason. Those are things from our past, limiting beliefs that hold us back. So how do we break through this? It's very, very simple. You change what the past means to you. Your life is made up of two things. It's made up of events and the meaning you give to each event. So let's use an example. If a man opens a door for a woman and she's really excited about it, why is that? Is it because he opened the door? Or is it because of her interpretation of what that means? It was her interpretation of the gesture, right? Because I could open the door for Alita and she could be like, screw you, you pig, I don't need you. She would never do that, obviously, but you get the point, right? Like same events, but completely different interpretation of the event. So this is where a lot of people build up resistance to what I teach because it's so powerful if you use it to break through. Look at the biggest limitation and emotional challenge of your life. What is that for you? Is it mommy issues? Is it daddy issues? Is it relationship issues? Is it a failure in business? Is it a challenging relationship? Whatever it is, it doesn't need to be traumatic. It can be anything though. What baggage or challenge are you giving a disempowering meaning to without realizing it? And the reason I say that is because life will change the second you put intentionality behind the meaning of everything. It will change the second you do that. You're setting up the game so you can win it if you do that. I changed what my mommy issues meant to me. And I stopped blaming her for why I was where I was. And I opened up my heart again. Guys, like, let's just be totally vulnerable and real. How many of you have closed up your heart a little bit because you're afraid of getting hurt again in some way? How many of you guys have done that? Be totally honest. Raise your hand if that's you. I've done it. Most likely everyone has, right? We close up our hearts because we don't want to get hurt again in some way. But here's the thing. When we do that, what happens is, like, we think it's protecting ourselves. But what it's actually doing is it's trapping the pain in here. And it's keeping out everything good that can change your life. So what do you blame? Who do you blame? What event do you blame for why your life is the way it is? And here's the thing, you might even blame yourself. You gotta let that go. That's what I'm gonna teach you how to do tonight. So what event do you blame for why your life is the way it is? Go with your gut. You don't need to have like this very specific answer either. I remember when I started this journey, I remember it was like, I just kind of feel like things with my mom are kind of effed up. Like that's what I kind of felt in the very beginning. I felt like things with her were like stopping me in some way. You probably have a gut feeling of what it is. And it doesn't need to be huge in any way, but there's something, right? What do you just kind of feel is holding you back? One of the best ways to break through this is through what's called conscious blaming. So let me explain. When you look at this situation or person that you blame, it could even be yourself. When you look at it, what emotions come up? What anger, resentment, jealousy, pain comes up in your mind? Think about how you've used it. Like, how many of you guys have even used some sort of self-deprecating humor when that situation comes up in your life, right? Like when that person is the topic of conversation, you kind of roll your eyes or you kind of, whatever it is, like how have you used that situation to blame or you have this feeling of anger, almost like when you see that person calling on the phone, you have this automatic resistance. You know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy? Right? That's what used to happen with my mom. So take a look at that. Take a look at all the anger that is built up. Take a look at the blame. Take a look at the resentment, the frustration, and just think about what happens when you're triggered for that situation and what do you blame that situation for? Like write that in your notes right now. What do you blame that situation for in your life? And the reason I'm going to have you do that is because have you ever taken a second to ask yourself what good came out of that situation? Have you ever looked at why that situation was a blessing in your life? Why that failure in business was a good thing? Why that sexual assault benefited your life in some way, shape, or form? And that's where resistance comes up. That's where people say, no, that's not possible in my life. No, it's too painful. There's something beautiful that came out of it. Is it your independence? Is it your awareness? What is it for you? There is something beautiful in your life that came from a trauma or a pain point or a failure in the past that we need to give it credit for. Let me give you an example. I had a beautiful experience with a client actually a couple months ago now. And she had been sexually assaulted by multiple family members, like horrible situation. Self-confidence destroyed, sexually assaulted by multiple family members. Her kids were sexually assaulted, like traumatic, right? And I took her through this exercise of just finding a blessing in this pain. And you want to know what she said? She said that, you know what, when I really think about it, it made me extremely strong in a way that I can survive anything. It gives me deep love and compassion for other people, especially women who have been through the same thing. It gives me powerful intuition about people's intentions. Like, holy cow, talk about a change in meaning in someone's life. Her life has never been the same ever since she changed the meaning of that. Everything has exploded because she chose a new empowering meaning to what she blamed for the longest time. So my point in bringing this up is that you don't control what happened. You cannot go back and change it. It was painful and it hurts, but you control the meaning from here on out. You are responsible for the meaning here on out. So let's use a situation that's less intense, my situation growing up, and I'll show you how I chose to blame my mom for where I am now in a wonderful way. If my mom didn't take 40 grand from me, there is no way I would have been hungry for freedom. There's no way. There is no way in hell. If my parents didn't scream and yell and fight every day of my childhood and eventually get divorced, I wouldn't be nearly as loving of a husband as I am to her. There's no way. If love wasn't used as a weapon against me growing up, there is no way I would have learned how to have so much empathy to where I see what someone's telling me about a painful situation and I can see right through it in a moment. There's no way that gift would be there if it wasn't used against me my whole life. If my business didn't fail for years, I wouldn't have learned what I needed to learn to create freedom in my life. So I blame her for why my life is so great. That is conscious blaming. So instead of blaming your past, what if you thanked your past? Can you imagine the change in your life? Instead of blaming your past, if you thank your past, a whole new future, an entire new future. So take an analysis. What did your past actually create that's amazing? You can focus on why it sucked, or you can focus on what's great about it, because what's wrong is always available to you, but so is what's right. My mommy issues were the best thing that ever happened to me because they created me. So what if the worst days of your life were secretly the best days of your life in disguise? What if your trauma has a gift inside of it to lead you to emotional freedom? What if you adopt a belief tonight that life is always happening for you and not to you? What if you stop making it wrong that you went through that pain and you start making it perfectly right? Did it hurt? Absolutely. Is it painful? Still probably, but it wasn't wrong because it created you. So if you're going to blame someone for all the bad things and why you're stuck, you better blame them for the good stuff that came out of it too, because they were exactly who they needed to be. If they played a different role, you wouldn't be who you are. You probably wouldn't be hungry on this entrepreneurship journey, would you? Like, think about that. My life changed when I decided that my mom was the best thing that ever happened to me. Her behaviors molded me, they sculpted me, they shaped me into who I am, and I wouldn't be the man that I am proud to be without that pain. So what if that person that you blame, or that situation you blame, or that failure you blame was exactly what it needed to be? What if it wasn't wrong in your creator's eyes? The same is true in your life, right? It's molding you, it's sculpting you, it's shaping you. And who you are today has the ability to use that pain to impact the world. Can you imagine, just for a moment, how you would share differently with your audience with that type of empathy and awareness? Instead of just talking about fitness and nutrition all day long, you share about the shit that's actually going on. Can you imagine how much trust they would have with you if they felt that you went through something similar? Can you imagine the community of hope you'd build from changing what the past means to you? How would every invite change? How would your marriage change? Everything would change, because instead of just focusing on the top level bullshit, you are actually relatable. You're actually relatable to what people are facing. And people, they have so much information, but they're starving for wisdom. They have so much information, but they're starving for wisdom, and you can be that wisdom for them. You don't control what happens to you, but you do control how you respond to it. Every part of your past, it's a message, it's a lesson, it's a gift you can grow from. If you view your past that way, you can use it to change your future instead of being stuck there. Life will continue to teach you the lessons you need to learn to live the life that you're meant to live. Have you ever noticed the same painful things keep coming up again and again and again, and that lesson keeps getting louder and louder and louder, just knocking on your head saying, yo, listen, it's going to keep doing that unless you change the meaning of what you're going through. So stop making where you are right now considered wrong. It's not wrong to be where you're at. You're exactly where you need to be. So write this in your notes. Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. If you step into the common sense corner for a second, if you're God, the universe, whatever you choose to believe in, and you have person A and person B down on earth, right? And person A is that person that goes, this isn't fair. I shouldn't be here. That I should have more money right now. I should be at that rank by now. I shouldn't have gone through that. I can't trust guys, right? Like whatever it is, whatever the painful situation is, thinking that it's just wrong, focusing on what's wrong on a regular basis. And then you have person B. And person B is that person that focuses on, you know what? I just got diagnosed with cancer. And I'm going to fight like hell, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity to create strength in my life. Or you know what? I just lost a child. And you know what? I'm going to find peace and find a way to love who I truly am in this moment. Or you know what? I'm going through a divorce right now, and it's brought me so much closer to my kids. Or you know what? I have relationship issues. But this is such a beautiful opportunity to learn how to be more of a giving spouse instead of expecting so much from them. If you find the blessing instead of the fault, and you change the meaning, you change your stars. Guys, seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. If you're God, the universe, whatever you believe in, are you going to give more to person A, the person that's complaining about having less and why things were wrong? Or are you going to give more to the person that loves everything they already have, including the challenge? So find the blessing in your pain, guys. You are responsible for it. No one's going to come and save you from this, by the way. No one's going to come and do that. You can do that. You are responsible for your future. Something you'll quickly learn by working with me, happiness is trainable. Happiness is trainable. It is not a byproduct of life events. It is something you condition into who you are. And if you're saying BS, it's because you've been conditioning the opposite for a long time. Happiness is trainable, but so is sadness. So is depression, so is anxiety, so is any other disempowering emotion. Now, I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that there aren't biochemical predispositions to those things. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that medication is a bad thing at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that we use it as a way out, don't we? We say, I can't be successful because I have anxiety. I can't be successful because I have depression. Bullshit. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. How many people do you know that are on antidepressants that are still depressed? Right? Like, think about it. Like, seriously, like, think about that for a second. There's a reason for that, because we train those emotions into who we are, and we use those emotions as a way out. Again, not saying there aren't biochemical predispositions. I'm saying that we can change the way we focus and find a new empowering meaning. And believe it or not, I will teach you in my course how to be able to choose your emotions at any point in time. I'll choose you how to forgive when you don't want to. I'll teach you how to instill this into who you are, but you need to understand the overall concept that happiness is actually trainable. It's actually trainable, but it starts by adopting a new meaning to your pain. The next year does not need to be the same as the last year, because biography is not destiny. It's time to smile about your past and take responsibility for your future. And when you're one of the very few people that does, because keep in mind, guys, most people, if they heard this talk, they'd be going, no way, dude. No way, get out of here, right? But ask yourself this question, are most people happy? Do most people have what they want? Don't take constructive criticism from someone who's constructed nothing. It's so important that you listen to the people that have what you want. When you're one of the very few people, the small percentage of people that does this, you'll find actual abundance in your life. You'll find emotional freedom in your life. You'll find genuine happiness. And that plays such a big role because, guys, happiness is how you create a big business. It's not business and success lead to happiness. It's happiness leads to success. It's time to rewrite the narrative of your life story. It does not matter how much life is rained on your parade. Think about this. Let's use a metaphor that I learned in the meditation app Headspace, but it's so powerful. Think about this. And guys, can you make sure your line is muted, please? Think about this. When it's storming outside, it seems really, really gloomy, right? The same is true with our emotions. Like, sometimes we feel like these storm clouds are all around us and it's all we focus on. Have you ever noticed that? That when it's stormy in your life, right, we obsess over the storm. It's all we focus on. It's all we focus on and how things are wrong. We obsess over it and we forget what it's like to have that sunny sky just a couple days ago. We obsess over the storm and we forget the sun. But think about any time you've ever been in an airplane and you've taken off. First of all, can planes take off when it's raining? Yep, they absolutely can. And what happens anytime you take off on that airplane? And what happens every single time you elevate above those clouds? What happens? It is always sunny. Always. So what if you elevate yourself? What if instead of being pounded by the storm of life, you elevate your life above the storm and you don't let one negative experience keep you on that runway? Because once you change the meaning, you take off and you get above those clouds. When you're so caught up in the stress of whatever storm life is giving you, obsessing over why it's so hard because it's storming and just wishing so badly it'd be sunny again, it's really easy to forget that what you're looking for is already there. Happiness is already there. You just have to change the meaning, take off, and elevate above the clouds. When you find a new, empowering meaning to your pain, you can be happy whenever you want. If you can take away anything, guys, please understand that nothing needs to happen in order for you to be happy. Nothing. You're breathing. You're alive. Isn't that enough to smile about? Some people don't have that gift anymore, guys. It's all about that perspective. It's time that we raise the standard of who we are and take responsibility for our life and for our happiness. So ask yourself this. Let's apply this to your business, because that's really like you're on a team call for your business. So let's apply it to your business. Are you setting your goals right now based on a place of fear or a place of lack or a place of worry? Or are you setting your goals based out of what you actually want to become? Ask yourself that right now. It's time we stop using past failures and experiences to determine what goals to set. It's time to stop looking at your failures as the reason for why you can't. It's not true. This is where most people go wrong in building an online business. How many of you guys, raise your hand if you focus on, why isn't this working? If that's a question that comes up sometimes, why isn't this working? Or why am I stuck? Or whatever it is. Well, guys, that's why it's not working. So many people look for why they're stuck instead of looking for what they want. And wherever focus goes, energy flows. So if you raise the standard of who you are and what you demand for yourself, you're going to change your entire world. If you have weak goals that are set out of what you think is realistic, you're never going to have the life that you want. A lot of people come into this business having the expectation set at a 100 out of 10. They want the Lexus to show up in their driveway. They want to pay off the debt. They want those things. They want the fancy car. They want the freedom. But they're operating their business from fear at a negative 10 out of 10. That's where most people do. They want the 100, but they're at a negative 10. The only way to achieve those big dreams is to set your goals and actions from what you want instead of looking for why you're stuck. Stop setting goals based on past failures and start setting goals based on your dreams. So let me ask you this. Type what you think in the chat box. Is the goal of hitting diamond by the end of this year a goal set out of fear or a goal set out of big dreams? Let's see what you guys say. Type it in the chat box. Just whatever you think. There's no right or wrong answer here, but just really think about this. For most, fear. Absolutely, Sarah. Keep going, guys. What do you think? I just gave it away. But stop. If you're setting a goal of diamond by the end of the year, like you already know, it's a goal set out of fear. Like, what sounds more exciting? I'd really like to hit diamond by the end of the year. Or you know what? We're a 2019 elite team, and we're going to change so many people's lives this year. I'm going to take my team on this amazing retreat and thank them for all their hard work. And I'm going to pay off that student loan debt and take my kids to Disney World. And I'm going to contribute to that charity, and it's going to be freaking amazing. We're a 2019 elite team. What sounds more exciting? Getting to diamond or hitting elite, right? What sounds really more exciting? So my point, and elite is just some arbitrary goal I picked. You can pick whatever you want, but my point is don't set goals based on your present circumstances. Base goals on the future circumstances you want. Quit trying to be realistic and play it safe. Write this in your notes. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. So I say it like this. Pessimism leads to failure. Realism leads to mediocrity. Optimism leads to your dreams. And why is that? Well, the pessimist isn't going to try anything, so they're screwed, right? But the realist and the optimist, they have this opportunity to set goals, right? And the optimist is going to go, you know what, let's go for elite. And the realist is going to go, no way, dude, let's go for a diamond. That's more realistic. Like, I don't think that I can do this, right? I don't think so. I'm going to go for diamond instead. And so the realist goes for diamond, and the optimist goes for elite. The optimist fails the first couple of months, doesn't get there, trips over their own 2 feet. And the realist gets to their goal of diamond by the end of the year. So the realist was right. The optimist is going to fail. The realist was right. But here's the thing about optimism. What does the optimist do? They try again. And they learn from their failures, and they try again. And they learn from their failures, and they try again. So the optimist always wins. Always has the better life. Always. And even if that optimist misses that big goal they set, are they going to be way further along than the realist? Absolutely. This isn't saying be stupid and say you're going to be a billionaire by tomorrow, right? But I'm saying pick goals that scare the crap out of you, because realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. Raise your standards and demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. If you set a goal based in fear, what do you look for? Do you look for why you can or why you can't? You look for why you can't. And whatever you focus on, you're going to find. You have to believe that you're enough before the evidence of your business will ever say that you're enough. You need to learn how to be happy before abundance will ever show up in your life. So if you ask yourself bad questions about your dreams, like why am I stuck, or why is this so hard, you'll get bad answers. You'll find the reason and you'll stay stuck. But if you focus on asking great questions, you'll get really great answers. So, and if you guys were on the call that I did for Barbie and the Slay Squad call a while back, don't cheat right here, but look around the room right now. And I want you to count the number of things you can find. We'll change up the colors. Look around the room and count the number of things that you can find that are brown. Ready to go. Look for brown. Look for brown, 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 look for brown. It's everywhere. Look for brown, 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 look for brown. Cool. Close your eyes. How many things did you find that were green? None. Right? Why? Because you weren't looking for it. But check this out. Look around the room right now and count the number of things that you can find that are green. Ready to go. Look for green. Look for green. Why are you staring at me? Look for green. 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 It's everywhere. Holy cow. Look for green. Look for green. Look for green. How many more things did you find that were green? Get the point, right? Whatever you look for, you'll find. So take a look at what you ask yourself on a regular basis. Why doesn't anyone want to join my team? Why don't I know enough people? Why am I so stuck? Why am I so fat? Why am I so sad? No wonder you feel that way. You're literally getting what you're asking for. Ask and you shall receive. Well, you're just asking crappy questions, right? So start focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. This is why Jim Rohn always says, stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds will grow automatically. That's why he says that. So set goals from what you want instead of a place of blame and sadness and fear. Does that make sense? Earl Nightingale says the mind moves in the direction of your currently dominant thoughts. So stop focusing on why you're stuck and start focusing on what you want. Guys, please understand something. You are not broken and nobody needs to fix you. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing. No, you're not broken. It's just that you need to take 100% responsibility for your life and learn how to do that. It's time to take your control back. This is your life, not the people from your past. It is yours. So freaking own it. The type of thing that would have destroyed you before does not need to destroy you anymore. The rest of the world is not going to wait for you to get your shit together, but you can decide right now that you're going to take 100% responsibility for your life. For so many people, everything is someone else's fault or they blame themselves. Every problem can be explained away with some great reason why they can't make changes to the situation or the outcome. And they say, no, but my situation is different. No, not you, not anymore. If you have emotional challenges, you are a normal human being. It just makes you normal. Saying that your situation, like that other people don't understand your situation, is just a fancy way of being entitled. So we're not going to do that anymore. You're going to use the pain of your past to create greatness. If you elevate above those clouds, how could you find the good? How could you find the good? Why would your past be a great thing? How could you use it to inspire others? How would you share differently? How would you invite differently? You'd become a beacon of hope for those that can actually relate to your pain. This is what I did with my life. I just became a beacon of hope for people that feel stuck. That's what I did. And like, that's what my work is. It helps people get unstuck. I was vulnerable enough to share that. I use my pain to help people break through. You have pain that you've gone through that you need to have the courage to share so other people can break through. Put their needs ahead of yours and life will change very, very quickly. So I want to take you through an exercise. And if you were on the call with Barbie and everyone, it's similar but very different, okay? So it's a little bit different, so play all out with me here. Get somewhere where you can allow yourself to feel vulnerable and emotional. Get somewhere where you'll allow that to happen. If you know that from being on video, you're not gonna play all out with me, then either do this later or just turn your video off and be present. Because I promise you that playing all out in this exercise is such a game changer for you, okay? So get to where you need to be, turn your video off. It's gonna get emotional, so turn your video off if you need to, and just be fully present here. And the reason I'm doing this is because sometimes we get so caught up in our head and we don't know how to break free from the pain that's holding us there. We overthink it. We obsess over it. We don't know what to let go of. We don't know how to change the meaning of our pain, and we want to hold on to that pain. Have you ever noticed that when you're pissed off, you kind of want to stay pissed off? Or when you're angry or sad, you kind of want to stay angry or sad. And if someone tries to correct you, you go, just shut up and go away, right? Like that happens, right? I'm going to show you how to break through that right now. So think of that thing in your life right now. Think of that thing in your life that you blame. That thing in your life that you don't know how to let go of. The thing in your life that just you've been holding on to for so long, and you just wish it would stop being this weight on your back, and you just feel so stuck and so empty sometimes, and you know you're meant for more. You know you're meant for really big things, but it's just like this has been holding on to you, and you don't know how to let go of it. You don't know how to break through it. Raise your hand if you have that thing. Whatever that thing is. Raise your hand if you have your thing. Okay, cool. Close your eyes. Shake your body out. Sit up nice and tall. Make sure there's no distractions around, and take a deep breath in your nose and exhale out your mouth. Just trust me on this. Big deep breath in your nose and exhale out your mouth. And I want you to put all the intention and focus into your heart right now. Take both your hands and physically put them on your heart. Sit up nice and tall and feel your heart beating in your chest right now. And as you breathe deep into your heart. Actually imagine the oxygen flowing in your nose, through your heart and back out your mouth. Another one, big deep breath in, through your heart and back out your mouth. And feel the power of your heart right now. Feel the strength of it. Feel the beauty of your heart. Think of what your heart has guided you to do or to be or to give or to share. You didn't have to buy it. You didn't have to earn it. Something thought enough of you to give you this gift of life. The moment you were born, your heart beats 100,000 times a day, even when you sleep. You don't have to do anything for it. What a gift. So take that and breathe it into your heart right now. Just feeling so grateful that you even have this gift of life. Some people don't. So breathe that in and appreciate it and love it and cherish it right now. And now go back to just a beautiful memory in your life. What's a beautiful memory in your life? A moment that you can look back at and just treasure, just love, just appreciate. But instead of seeing that moment from the outside, step back into that moment like you're there. Breathe the same way you did then. See what you saw then, hear what you heard then, feel what you felt then now, like it's happening all over again, feeling so grateful. And breathe that memory into your heart right now. Big deep breath in your nose, through your heart and back out your mouth. And now go to a second memory. What's a second memory? Is it when you had your first baby? What's that moment for you? But step into that moment, whatever it is for you, like you're there. Relive it again. First person all over again. You're seeing what you saw then. You're hearing what you heard then. You're breathing the same way. You're saying the same things. Just relive that moment, that beautiful moment that you cherish, that you love. And just feel so grateful for that moment in your life. And when you feel that deep feeling of gratitude, breathe that memory into your heart right now. And know that you have this feeling within you whenever you want. And now go to a coincidence, guys. What's a coincidence? What's something that you didn't expect to happen, but it did? You were in line at Starbucks and you met the love of your life. You didn't mean to get pregnant, and now you have a beautiful family. You got a message on Facebook and you're creating your dreams. What's that coincidence for you? Whatever it is for you, something you weren't expecting that led to something beautiful that you cherish, that you love, a gift, a person, a career, an insight, a life change. What's that coincidence for you? And breathe that coincidence into your heart, feeling so grateful. Think of all it led to in your life. Why is your life a blessing now? Because of that coincidence. And breathe that in and really start to think, was that actually a coincidence? Or were you being guided? It's so beautiful when you realize and accept that life is always happening for you and not to you. Even the problems, they're gifts, because they lead to a more elevated version of you. So take a moment and breathe that coincidence into your heart and just cherish it and just love it. Just appreciate it right now. And now start to see all these memories kind of flashing in front of you real quick. Like just like the movie, see your heart beating 100,000 times a day. Breathe that into your heart right now. Feel that first memory all over again. Breathe that into your heart. That second memory, breathe it in, that coincidence, and feel so grateful, so alive, so happy, so passionate. Just start to overwhelm yourself with gratitude and abundance and joy and happiness and aliveness, and just try to triple the amount of appreciation you have for this amazing gift of life, and take it all in and just love it and feel it actually radiating out in every direction from your heart, every direction out through your whole body, up to your head, your arms, your legs, your calves, your feet, every direction. Send it to the people that you love most. They don't even need to know it, but just take it all in and just feel so grateful, so energized, so happy, so alive, so appreciative, and just say thank you to yourself right now. Just say thank you. Just appreciate it. Just love it. Just cherish it. And take it all in. Take it all in and feel so grateful. And now, from this beautiful state, from your heart, not your head, from your heart, go back to that situation that you blame. Go back to that painful thing that you totally forgot about. And from your heart, just ask your heart to complete the following sentence. This painful situation was such a blessing in my life because it led me to blank. This situation was such a gift because blank. This situation was one of the best things that ever happened to me because it led me to blank. And just ask your heart to find a more empowering meaning to your pain right now. Ask your heart to find the beauty instead of the blame. And when you're there, and when you have some sort of guidance, go ahead and open your eyes and come back on camera. How many of you found something beautiful from that? How many of you guys found some sort of release from that? Some sort of change in your life from that moment? And if you didn't, that's okay. There are other techniques that I teach in Appreciation Academy, multiple. But the point is that, guys, that was who you really are. That's the real you. That's the you that can solve any problem, any situation. No problem at all. You found the answer to something that was challenging you for such a long time in just a couple of minutes. Guys, like, can you imagine how your life would change forever if that's how you lived? If that's how you woke up? If that is how you solve problems? If that's how you conducted business? How would everything change in your life? Because you have one shot, guys. One. And most people will go through life trying to stay safe, never really going for it. You're not that person. Your life could end at any moment. You don't control the length of your life, but you do control its depth and its meaning. You're meant to feel fully alive every second of every single day. And I can teach you how to do that because you're exactly where you need to be right now. It's not wrong to be where you are. It's perfectly right. But can you imagine how your entire world would change if that's how you woke up? If you didn't need a team call to feel this way, what if that was your default setting? If that, guys, is something that you feel could truly benefit your life, and you know there's something going on in here, or something up here that you just need to let go of, if it's okay with you, I'd love to take just 2 minutes and share about an opportunity where I can teach you how to do that. There are multiple people on here that are clients of mine right now that can share a little bit about what this course will do for them. And there's no pressure here, or this course has done for them. There's no pressure here. But Alita and I have prepared an amazing opportunity for you to learn how to master this. We barely scratched the surface tonight, guys. Barely scratched the surface. If you thought this was deep and powerful, just wait until Appreciation Academy. There is a reason that goals seem to evade you. There's a reason that all these trainings seem to work for other people. There's a reason you feel stuck in some way. There's a reason that even if you do achieve, you feel empty inside. There's a reason why some days you crush it, some days you can't get off the couch. It's inner conflict. It's inner conflict that needs to be resolved. Negative self-talk, lack of worth, all those things keeping you stuck in the same spot. You hear the cliche, change your thinking, change your life, right? You guys know that cliche? This teaches you how to do that. It teaches you how to be happy. And because Your Leader is amazing, I've arranged a 50% off discount on this program for you guys. It actually increases based on the number of coaches that enroll. So you'll get a prorated refund at the end of the promotional period if you guys enroll a bunch of coaches. But that's for the payment plan or full pay option. There's no pressure whatsoever. But by the way, guys, if it's through me or through someone that you trust more, if money is tight or if time is tight or if things just are really struggling right now, that's exactly why you got to invest in your growth. It's why you got to get to Summit. That's why you got to go to seminars. That's why you got to invest in courses, because you can't change your life from the mindset that got you to your existing life right now. And because we don't know each other very well, that's why I have a guarantee on this program. You guys know who Jen Richardson is? 15-star diving coach. He says, and I quote, "Appreciation Academy is the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs to finally see success in their business." Micah Folsom says, and I quote, "If you're doing all the things and you're still not successful and you don't know what's stopping you, you absolutely need this." So I can go on and on with testimonials. It's endorsed by the top leaders in the business. That my goal isn't to impress you. It's to impress upon you that this is for real. It's for real. It rips away the layers of pain, preventing you from being who you're meant to be. It's not a business training. That doesn't work until you master this. This gets to the core of everything stopping you. It teaches you how to finally believe in yourself, how to silence the inner demons, and how to let go of the pain holding you back. You can ask anyone in this program. I am there for you the entire way through. Business and success will not bring you happiness. Happiness brings you those things. This course teaches you how to be truly happy and how to let go. It's how I went from stuck to where I am now. It is 7 years of personal growth packed together so you don't need to wait that long, and results of my clients speak for themselves. So if you felt something real, guys, I highly encourage you to enroll in the program. I know how you feel because I lived it. So if this is something you're interested in doing, all you got to do is head to bradbizjack.com/team call. Again, bradbizjack.com/team call. This information will be posted in your page, all that stuff. But I just want to say, guys, thank you for the privilege of allowing me to serve you today. It's just been an honor to be here. I saw you guys playing all out. It was just incredible to watch these breakthroughs happen. And it's such a privilege to be your coach. And I hope that I'm able to take you guys to the next level and truly release those things holding you back. So I will see you in Appreciation Academy, but thank you guys so much. And my friend, I will turn it back to you. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Oh, my friend, you sure know where to hit where it hurts, and then it opens up things that lead us into the future. So many things that you said are things that I remember saying to myself before, but I lost that and I forgot that. And I myself get really stuck. And guys, Brad messaged me a while ago, and I went through a really, really stuck period when I needed to answer him the most, and I was just ghosting him and ghosting him and ghosting him. And I knew I needed him. So a lot of the things that you say, like that one thing that we all know what it is that's holding us back, and we all know that thing that we need to let go of. It's the how, it's the steps to get there. I've been seeing the buzz in our 5-star diamond groups about Brad, and before the call, I was going in like trying to find some things that people were saying about Brad, because there's literally like there's posts and then 101 comments or 53 comments, or like you can't not have Brad do your team call. You can't not. And I know like Sarah saw him at Super Saturday. I am on our market council for November of I'm not supposed to actually talk about this stuff, but I want Brad to be there. So we are working really hard to make that happen. Just so much gold that you provide. And I love that you come from the background of Beachbody and you understand our business, so you can really tailor that and work that into everything. So many different things. The phrase disempowering emotion really struck a chord with me, because I think a lot of us come up with those emotions and those thoughts and the negative self-talk. But the biography is not destiny. I think it's something that a lot of us need to be reminded of on the daily until you get to that point where you can, like you said, find the beauty in everything and recognize that life happens for us and not to us, and that we can change the meanings associated with those things. I think that's obviously pivotal. It should be trademarked, but to elevate, to really and truly elevate above the storm, and to see that sun all the time, and to live our life from that position. I can't thank you enough, Brad, for taking time tonight to share with us. And I would love if we have Sarah and wait, I lost you. Sarah, and where did you go? There's two of you that did. Holly, was it Holly? I feel like it was Holly. You've both done the course. If you can share a little bit, some of the takeaways with us in the team page that you've experienced so far with your business. Since you've started the Appreciation Academy, I would greatly appreciate that. And I'm also going to go in and start a thread and then provide some information about the Appreciation Academy and other things that Brad has to offer. Thank you again for your time. I will post a recording, so make sure that you share with your teams and send where necessary. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Brad. Good night, Unitary.